everybody, Sarah Beaton here and welcome back to another past paper practice video. In this video, we will be looking at some number theory questions, so let's head straight into them. So the first question says, a sequence of figures is made from toothpicks of unit length. The first three figures in the sequence are shown below. Now they want us to draw figure 4 in the sequence. So let's analyze what is going on in figure 1, 2, and 3. So for figure 1, we see we have one toothpick, 3 toothpicks being put together. And then we see we added on another piece here, another piece here. And then for figure 3, we saw that we added on some more here. So for figure 4, so let's draw exactly what we have in figure 3. So we'll draw down here, draw across here, and draw down here. And then we'll draw across here, draw down here. So let me put this a bit closer together. And then I'll go across here. Then I'll go up here. And then I will come across here and I'll go up here. And then I'll come down here. Then I'll come across here. So this is figure 3. So for the fourth figure, we see for each figure, we keep adding on 1, 2, 3, 4 toothpicks. So let's add on 4 toothpicks. So I draw across one here, and I draw one here, and I draw across one here, and I draw across one here. So this will be figure 4. So we see this is figure 4, and we saw that I added in 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just keep adding on 4 toothpicks to the figure. So that is the first one. So the next question says, study the patterns of numbers in each row of the table below. Each row relates to one of the figures in the sequence above, which would be this one here. Some rows have not been included in the table. So they want us to complete the rows numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in this case, we have to look at what is going on in each pattern, in each part of the table, and then try to complete 1, 2, 3, 4 of the table. So let's look at one. For figure 1, we saw that we have the number of toothpicks in the pattern. We saw that we have 3 toothpicks. And the perimeter of the shape would be 0 plus 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. So that is probably not enough to determine a sequence. So let's look at figure 2. So for figure 2, we saw that we have 7 toothpicks in the pattern. And the perimeter for the shape would be 1 plus 2 plus 2. And that is equal to 5. And then we move on to the third one. We saw that we have figure 3. And we saw we have the number of toothpicks would be 11. So, and for the perimeter, we see we have 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus, that is equal to 7. So let's try to figure out this pattern. So we see we have the number of toothpicks is 3 and the figure is 1. And then we see this number is 0. And then we see for figure 2, we see this number is 1. And for figure 3, we see this number is 2. So it looks as though we are subtracting 1 from the figure to get this number here. And then this number here corresponds with the figure 2 and 2, 3 and 3. And then we see this number remains as 2 regardless of what. So for figure 4, and to get the number of toothpicks, we see we have 3, and then we have 7, and then we have 11. We see we're adding by 4. So for figure 4, it will be 11 plus 4, which is 15. And then for the perimeter, we see we are subtracting 1 from here. So since this is 4, this will be 3 plus, and we're adding the same figure, which is 4, plus the same 2, and that would be equal to, so 3 plus 4 would be 7, 7 plus 2 would be 9. And that would be the perimeter for that figure. So how are we doing? This is 2 and this is 3, so we just subtracting 1. So since this is 3, this will be 4. So we do the same thing there. So let's move down. So we have this one here. So we want to complete the figure and also the number of toothpicks. So we see here's 19. So that means here would be 20. And then the number of toothpicks would be, so let's try this. Fine. Instead of, maybe a nice way to do this is to count until you reach 20, but that would take a very long time. And we don't have all of that time. So let's see what pattern we can get to get the number of toothpicks using this here. So for figure 1, we see we have 3. So let's try 1 times 2 plus 1 would give you 3. Let's see if that will work for the second one. So 2 times 2 would give me 8. 8, no, that cannot work. So that cannot work. So let's try something else. 1 times 3 would give me 3. So that checks out there. 2 times 3 would give me 6. So that can't work. 6 plus 1, no, that won't work. So let's try another one. 1 times 4 would give me 4. But we have a 3 here. So let's see if we subtract 1 from that. So 1 times 4 would give me 4. And if I subtract 1, that would give me the 3. So let's try that now. So 2 times 4 would give me 8. And if I subtract 1, I will get 7. Let's try 3 times 4. That would give me 12. Subtract 1 would give me this. And 4 times 4 would give me 16. 16 subtract 1 would give me. So we see the pattern. So we can have 20 times 4 would be 80. 80 subtract 1 would be 79. And that would give me the answer there. And that kind of gives us the pattern. So that is what you need to do. Trial and error until something works for all. So let's skip 3 and let's go and put in n since we figure out the pattern. So we see n here. This is kind of the formula. So the formula is it's 4 times whatever is here minus 1 will give us this here. So this would be 4 times n, which would be 4n minus 1 will give us this here. And for this one, we see it's this here, subtract 1 will give us this forest storm. So n subtract 1 plus the same number here. So in this case, it would be plus n plus 2. And that would give us this here. I mean, we can simplify this and further, but we can leave it just as this. So for number 3, we can use n to get all the remaining numbers. So for number 3, we see we have 127. So you can do a simple equation. We can do trial and error, or we can do you can solve this as an equation. So let's do trial and error. So we know this number is decreased by 1. So let's add 1 to this and see what 4 times that will give us. So 4 times, so we have 127. So this will be 128. So 128 divided by 4 would give us 32. So let's try and see if 32 will work. So 32 times 4 would give me 128 minus 1 would give me 127 indeed. So the number is 32. Or we could have done this. We could have done 4n minus 1 is equal to 127. And we could have had 4n is equal to, we take over this subtract, we will add. So this would be 128 and n would be equal to 128 divided by 4 would give me 32. You could have done that as well. Or you could have done trial and error. And that's the beauty about these kind of questions. So that is for that one. So now let's try to figure out the number here. So we know this 32 will be decreased by 1, will give me the first number, which is 31, plus the same 32 plus 2 would give me the answer here, which would be 31 plus 32 plus 2 would give me 65. And that is the answer for that question. So, and this will give us all of our marks, but let's try to simplify this here a bit further, just to make it a bit clearer. So we see we have some like terms, n minus 1 plus n plus 2. So we can just put the like terms together. So this would be n plus n. So n plus n minus 1 plus 2 would give me n plus n is 2n. Negative 1 plus 2 would give me plus 1. So this can be simplified to 2n plus 1. So both this and this, they mean the same thing. All right, so remember we don't want to leave this just as it is. It's algebra. We have some like terms, so we want to simplify them. But we can use this to get the other numbers at the top here. And when we're done, we can simplify it to get this here. Because remember the key things that we wanted this number here, we wanted this number, and we know this would always be 2. So we can leave this as it is to calculate it. But for our answer here, we'll put in 2n plus 1. But I'm sure if you leave this just as it is, you should get your marks as well, because that is the formula that you will use to get this at the top here. And they didn't say exactly to simplify it to simplest terms, so you should get your marks if you leave this as it is. So with that, this has brought me to the end of this video. So we saw that with these kind of questions, it's kind of like a trial and error. You know, you want to multiply force, and then if the multiplication is not working, you want to multiply and then add something. And if that is not working, you want to multiply and then subtract. So we look at more questions like these in the upcoming videos. See you until then. Take care.